Hi, this is Rudy Rhodes, KYAE's Instructional Technology Consultant. Today we're going to be talking about the Integrating Technology Rubric. Now, this rubric is a self-evaluation tool that you can use to see how technology is being implemented into your program. Now, when you're using this tool, it is going to show that there's different levels of integration. And you'll be able to see things like no integration, beginning integration, modern integration, full integration. Now, when you're looking at this, don't get too bogged down by those levels, because in all honesty, everyone is probably starting out around this beginning integration, and that's across the state and across the country, because the way we're using technology is changing in education these days. We're not just sending students to a computer lab and expecting them to be doing their own standalone activities on PCs. We're trying to change the way that we teach with technology because our students are changing the ways they learn with technology, especially when it comes to mobile devices and the access to information. So with that in mind, remember, again, everyone's just kind of be starting out. And with that in mind, we're going to take a look at how this rubric works. Now, if you're looking at this rubric video, you've probably already taken the KYAE Technology Integration Survey, that live, online, kind of interactive survey that sees some information about how you're using the technology in your program. And after you take that survey, you're going to get a response email to your program director. And that response email is going to be pretty cool because it's going to break things down section by section and tell you how your program's doing. So it's going to tell you what you're doing with your students and what level you are. It's going to tell you how you're doing with your instructors and what level you are. It's going to give you a level for administration, classroom, site, and, of course, it's going to give you an overall result. And it's going to say beginning integration, full integration, or whatever best fits your program at the moment. Now, again, it's important to remember, pretty much everyone is going to be starting out at this beginning integration, or maybe even no integration, depending on where your program's at. And that's just fine, because all this tool is supposed to do is give you an idea of where you're at and ideas of how we can get better going forward and integrate this technology for productivity for our students and to create that rich learning environment for them. So, with that in mind, once you get that response email, again, it's going to break it down, give you an overall result, category result, and you're going to be able to look at those results and talk it over with your staff. Now, you're not going to be alone in this. Again, as my role as Instructional Technology Consultant, I get an email of every program who takes the survey, and I like to get in contact with those directors and those instructors and talk about their plans going forward, because you're not going to be alone in this. Just like I said, we're going to go work through this, we're going to come up with a plan and see within a year's time, maybe we can make some really cool changes that your students will really enjoy. Now, this rubric, while it gives a description of where you're at, it doesn't really give you the specifics of how to improve or how to do some of those really cool ideas going forward. But we didn't leave you in the dark. We've got you covered there too. So if you scroll down to the second page of this document, you're going to see this checklist. And this checklist is what the entire rubric is based upon. And you can see that we have the category, just like above for the items. We have the skill that's being employed. And then we have a points value. So this works very simply. All you have to do is take a look at the skills, see if it's something that you're employing in your program, and if you are, that's how many points you get when you take the survey and check that item. Now again, as mentioned in the survey tutorial, when you're taking the survey, be honest. If it's something that you've only done once or twice, or only maybe one of your instructor does once a month, it's probably not something you should mark on the survey. But if this is a real initiative that your program is trying to implement on a daily basis for your students, definitely mark that down on the survey. That's why we're here. Now, one quick thing you'll notice is that points values, they start staggering from just 1 all the way down to 5. And you'll notice the low points values are things that you're probably going to be doing anyways. Because no matter what level of technology integration you have, using CARES to make programming decisions, that's something you have to do. Same with offering distance learning. These are skills that a program pretty much has to offer to their students just to have their doors open. So even though they're really important, they're only worth a few points. Going down the list, the more advanced you get with technology, the more points these are worth. So using digital presentations for orientation, using digital resources in the classroom, having mobile devices for students to use in class, these are all increasing skills that offer more points. Then down towards the bottom, we get to some of the big ideas, like where we have students are able to log in to the network with their own devices and use them in class, or students use a learning management system to communicate with staff and teachers and their fellow students when doing projects. So again, it starts up at the top with the more basic skills a program has to do, then ends down at the bottom with the more advanced skills. And the cooler things you do in your program, the more points you get. Now, again, this is something that you're going to want to review after you take the survey for the first time, so you can make a plan going forward. So, after you make that plan, and ideally I'll be getting in contact with you guys, phone, email, I can visit your programs, whatever you'd like. We'll sit down, we'll make a plan of some of the things you'd like to implement, because there's no way that anyone is going to do all of these things within a year or even several years. But these are just a place to start and a good way to make a plan for your program. So after you make your plan for your program, start implementing these things. About a year down the road in April, we're going to have you take the survey again and see where you are next time. Again, there's no pressure with it, because pretty much all of us are starting out at beginning integration, and that's why we're all going to work together on this. So I hope this cleared up a little bit of how to use this rubric and what kind of tool it is. So thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you guys next time.